Colleen believed she knew everything about her husband until she accidentally overheard his therapy session. Michael's startling confession revealed his darkest secrets, destroying their 12-year marriage and leaving Colleen to pick up the shattered pieces of their family. Hey folks, Colleen here. How would you feel if you discovered something earth-shattering about your spouse? Something that made you question every moment of your marriage? That's exactly what happened to me, and if it hadn't been for one fateful phone call, I would have never known. My life, up until recently, was like something out of a picture-perfect family album. I've been happily married to my husband, Michael, for 12 years. We have 2 wonderful kids, Sean and Millie. Everything seemed just right. We celebrated the little things, like family game nights, and the big things, like Michael's recent promotion at work. Oh, that night was unforgettable. Michael took us out to a surprise dinner. We laughed, we toasted, and I still remember the way his eyes sparkled when he told us the news. But everything changed that one afternoon. It was a typical day. I was doing the laundry while talking to Michael on the phone. He was about to start his therapy session. Michael had been showing signs of stress lately. Constant business trips and work pressure were taking a toll on him, so he started seeing a therapist, Dr. Hanks, to help manage the stress. We talked about the usual stuff, how his day was, how the kids were doing. I told him I was making his favorite turkey roast for dinner. We said our warm goodbyes when Michael told me the therapist had arrived. I kept my phone on the table and went back to folding clothes, thinking about the evening ahead. But then, 10 minutes later, I picked up my phone to call a friend about a recipe. That's when I noticed Michael hadn't hung up. I could hear everything he was telling his therapist. At first I hesitated. It felt wrong to eavesdrop. But then I heard something that made my blood run cold. Dr. Hanks' voice came through clearly. "Okay, Mr. Fox, let's go back to our last conversation. You mentioned that your family isn't the only family you've got." "Yes, Dr. Hanks," Michael replied. I froze. "Can you please elaborate, Michael?" Dr. Hanks asked, sounding as puzzled as I felt. Michael's voice was steady, almost emotionless. "My wife Colleen and our kids, Sean and Millie, aren't the only family I have. I've got 2 other families, one in California and another in New York. I have 2 children with one woman and a daughter with the other." My knees buckled. I dropped to the floor, phone still pressed to my ear. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear Michael continue. "I tell Colleen I'm going on business trips, but really I'm visiting them. I've been doing this for years," he added. I couldn't breathe. The tears started flowing, hot and uncontrollable. Everything we had, every moment, every celebration, it was all a lie. I stayed there, clutching the phone, wanting to wake up from this nightmare, but I couldn't. Michael's words were like daggers, each one cutting deeper than the last. Dr. Hanks' voice broke through my haze. "Michael, that's a lot to carry on your shoulders. How do you manage it?" Michael sighed. "I don't know, doctor. I love all of them. But it's exhausting. I feel like I'm living 3 different lives. Sometimes I think about coming clean, but I can't bear to lose any of them." I felt like I was going to be sick. How could he love us and lie like this? My mind raced with questions, but I couldn't move, couldn't think straight. All I could do was listen, every word tearing my heart apart. Michael continued, "I know it's wrong. I know I'm deceiving them all. But I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to choose." Dr. Hanks' tone was gentle. "Michael, it's important to address this, not just for your sake, but for everyone's well-being. Secrets like this can be very damaging." Michael's response was barely a whisper. "I know, doctor. I know. But there's nothing I can do. It's too late." I froze on the floor, my world shattered into a million pieces. How could this be happening? How could the man I loved, the father of my children, be living a double life? No, a triple life. The tears kept coming, my body racked with sobs. I didn't know what to do or where to go from here. All I knew was that my life would never be the same again. I sat there clutching my chest, tears streaming down my face, as the weight of Michael's betrayal crashed over me. Every memory, every moment felt tainted. My heart ached, and I wondered how I would ever face him again. I pressed the phone against my ear, feeling every word cut deeper into my heart. Dr. Hanks acknowledged Michael's confession and asked, "What made you cheat on your wife Colleen and have 2 secret families?" Michael's voice trembled. "Colleen, she's my 3rd wife," Michael revealed, his words landing like a sledgehammer on my heart. "I'm really guilty for doing this, doctor. But it's too late to come clean. I truly love Colleen and our children. I never meant to cheat on her. Situations forced me to make choices in the past." "What do you plan to do now?" Dr. Hanks asked gently. Michael sighed heavily. "I'm afraid to tell Colleen about my other families. The children from those families are already in high school. I don't know how to face her. I'm afraid of losing her." "Do you feel guilty, Michael?" Dr. Hanks asked after a pause. Michael remained silent for a long moment, then suddenly burst into tears. "Even if I want to set things right, it's too late. I have to divide my time between my 3 families for the rest of my life." "Do your other 2 families know about each other?" Dr. Hanks asked. "No," Michael said bluntly. I couldn't listen anymore. My hand trembled as I dropped the phone, ending the call. The room spun around me as I collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. How could he? How could he betray us like this? Just then I heard the kids coming home from school. "Mom, we're back," Sean called out. I wiped my tears quickly and splashed cold water on my face, trying to reduce the puffiness. I had to pull myself together for them. I walked into the kitchen and started preparing the turkey roast, my mind racing. A storm was brewing inside me, but I decided to act calm. I needed to give Michael one last chance to come clean. That evening he came home, acting like everything was normal. He was sitting with the kids, watching TV, when I called him aside. "Michael, we need to talk," I bluntly said. "What's up, honey?" he asked, looking puzzled. "Yeah, hold on a moment. Coming." I took a deep breath, my heart pounding as Michael sat across from me at the dining table. "I've been wanting to tell you something for years, but I was afraid of losing our family. The guilt has been pressing down on me, and I've decided to come clean," I began. Michael's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "I cheated on you 5 years ago," I said, forcing the words out. "I met this guy in Spain. He was divorced, handsome, and single. It was a mistake, I know, but it's been tormenting me all these years." Michael sprang to his feet, kicking the chair back. "What? How could you do this to me, Colleen? I trusted you. And you slept with another guy? You disgust me. You're a pathetic woman." His face twisted with anger. "You're disloyal. I'm ashamed of you." His words cut deep, but I kept my composure. Rising from the chair, my arms crossed and eyes staring daggers, I declared, "Oh, darling, it's surprising you'd start suspecting me over a story I cooked up." Michael froze, confusion and shock written all over his face. "See, cooked up? What do you mean?" "It was a fabricated tale to see if you would come clean about the 2 secret families you've been hiding from me all these years." I spilled the tea. Michael's blood drained from his face. He started to stammer, Colleen, I can explain." I cut him off with a dismissive wave of my hand. "Save it, Michael. I heard everything. I trusted you, but you stabbed me right in my heart." His shoulders slumped as he ran after me, his eyes pleading. "Colleen, please." "I'm done, Michael. You've destroyed our family." I turned on my heel, calling out to the kids, "Sean, Millie, pack your bags. We're leaving." Michael stood there, defeated, as I gathered our things. The kids, sensing the tension, didn't ask any questions. We left the house, leaving Michael stranded in the ruins of the family he'd so easily shattered. A week later, I sent him the divorce papers. The proceedings are underway now, and I don't regret leaving Michael at all. But the extent of his deception haunts me every day, and I'm not quite sure if I'd move on from the scars he's inflicted on my heart. As I tuck Sean and Millie into bed each night, I wonder how I'll ever rebuild our lives. But one thing is certain: I'll never let anyone betray us like that again.